Hello and welcome everybody. Today we have Joanne Brown and Tumay with us today, and we are going to be covering guilt and shame. So this is going to be quite a big one for a lot of people. In fact, I would say all people, because we all have guilt and shame that needs some work on. To make this process today as gentle as possible, even Nala has obviously got some guilt and shame because she's joining in. Dogs are really tuned into the energy, so that's absolutely fine. In fact, she's just agreeing with us, isn't she?
Yeah.
She's affirming all of that. Okay, so that's what we're going to be working on. But to make this as gentle as possible for us all, we're going to be working with colours on this. Okay, so it's just going to give you an extra tool to understand how to use it for the colours and how to understand that by taking that logic away sometimes and just putting something else into it, actually our subconscious and our energy system manages to search for that information itself in the right way, in the right order, for it to come up and clear. Excuse me. So are we ready, ladies?
Yeah, I'm clearing already.
Okay. So we're just going to start off tapping on here. In fact, no, we're going to go for the top of the head, actually, ladies. Let's just start. So for those of you who've never done tapping before, we are just going to be tapping on certain points of our body, which are acupuncture points. And it just sounds like little guitar strings that go through your body. So by tapping on them, you're just vibrating all those little strings inside you. And then we're going to help that energy shift any dirt and stuck debris on those strings to ping off. And as they ping off, you might yawn like Joe is, or you might
burp
or cry. You might have little tears, not necessarily great big sobs. You might need to dash to the loo. You might get very hot and very cold. So those are sort of nausea feelings.
Oh, excuse me.
So when you've been working with energy as frequently or as long as us, and coughing as well as a clearance, okay, you will notice with us that we clear very quickly because we're energy workers. And that means that because we use it so much, sometimes we only have to think about it and we start automatically clearing. This may not happen to you immediately, this may not happen to you today, but trust that this will actually be working for a good week up to you sort of getting going. Okay, so we've warmed ourselves up with the top of the head there, and I'm stopped doing that for the moment because I think some of you might be getting aching arms. So we're going to carry on here. This is your stomach meridian, okay, and it joins in with lots of other points in here as well. So this is the sorry, not stomach, large and small intestine. Oh, I can't even get my words right today. So this is the small intestine meridian, okay, that comes down here and joins in with other meridians. So we're going to start tapping here. So you've already done the system by doing the top of your head. You might feel some tingles already, and you might now feel that your stomach is now starting to sort of settle a little bit. You might find that you can't talk like me this morning as well, but you know, it affects all sorts of things. So I just want you to tune into now those feelings and those times where you remember feeling perhaps guilty or ashamed. And I would like you to go back now, Joe and Tumay and everyone else, to perhaps the very first time that you remember feeling, or, well, if you can, go back to the first time you remember feeling guilt and shame. And, pardon me, or there might be specific events or people that come up for you as we're doing this process. So just want you to be aware of that, but don't go into this, don't immerse yourself into that memory, just be aware of it and look at it as if you're looking at it on a screen of a movie and you're just observing this, okay? And if you just want to close your eyes now, where are you feeling that in your body or your head? Are you just seeing that in your eyes? Are you hearing things? Are you smelling things, tasting things? Just be aware of that is in your body or in your head.
I'm feeling it in my throat.
Feeling it in the throat. Where are you feeling it to, Mike?
Sort of this area.
Okay, and your nose and your eyes. Okay, that's beautiful. So just be aware of that. And if you could just give me a colour now, Tumai, for that area. The first colour that comes to mind, you don't overthink it.
Yeah, blue.
Blue. Okay, Joe?
I've got black.
And you've got black. Okay. All right. So just repeat after me now. Okay, so even though
So even though
I have this colour,
I have this colour
spot,
in this spot,
This
in that space,
in that space.
put yourself on mute, Joe, just for a moment. So even though I have that colour
in that space,
I accept that it's there right now
I accept that it's there right now
because it is,
because it is,
and I accept me anyway.
and I accept me anyway.
So even though
that
colour is there
in
that space, inside me, I wonder if it's okay now
I wonder if it's okay now
to change that colour
to change that color
to something more beautiful
to something more beautiful
and healing
and healing
and perfect
and perfect
just for me.
just for me.
And if it is okay,
And if it is okay,
what colour would that be?
what color would that be?
And just let yourself now change that colour to something more perfect for you. And just let that colour expand in that area until it's replaced the old colour. And if that's different colours and they change quite frequently, just allow that to flow through you and just accept that. Just taking your tapping points now to your kidney meridian, so on your chest. Okay, just allowing that colour to flow in now into that area and completely replace that first colour. And what colour do you have now, Tumai?
Orange.
Orange. And how does that feel for you?
It feels okay. It's my sister's favorite color, so it's sort of like sister support. I don't know.
Okay, super. And what's your colour, Joe?
It's gone bright. It's like a bright white colour now.
A bright white colour. Okay. And if you need to change this colour for it to be even more healing for you, more loving, more kind, just allow that colour to change again and fill that area. Or perhaps you might want to enhance that colour that you already had. Just allow that to spread through you. And when you're ready, just bring yourself back into the room.
Oh, gosh.
Okay. Just take your time, nice deep breaths. There's no rush there. Okay. Okay, Joe, so without going into any detail there about particular events, how is that guilt and shame feeling for you now?
It's feeling lighter. It's feeling lighter. Like I said, I did a lot of clearing. I was burping and I was yawning and I've got tears coming at the side of my eyes and my nose is running. It's just like everything is just clearing. But it does feel lighter. It does feel lighter. I know.
Okay, is it still in your throat?
No, I can't feel it. No, can't feel anything.
If you close your eyes, is there any colour there?
It's brighter. It's like it's not as bright as it was before, but it's not black, because when I had my eyes closed before, it was completely and utter black. But it's like got a grayer colour, so it wasn't as bright as when we were working, but it's not as dark as it was when I started, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. Okay, thank you. And to my
yeah, it's lighter here as well. For some reason, sometimes when I tap on problems, my arm, I tap with hurts, so I had a bit of pain in my arm. But it's just dark. I just see darkness now, so I don't feel the connection I had before.
You don't feel the connection. Is there anything there at all?
It's a little bit, but I have sinuses problems, so.
Okay. So that is an area that would then sort of take a little bit deeper for Tumai to sort of work on. Okay, but this is just giving you an idea of how you can work with colours. Okay. So when you think of guilt and shame now, just be aware of if that has reduced from quite high intensity to where it is now, and jot that down. You can give yourself a marking from 10 being the highest and 0 being nothing. Where was it when you started, and where would you say that is now, Tumai, for you?
I think it was around a 6. Now it might be like a 2.
Okay, super. And Joe?
I'm probably down to about a 4-ish, I think, on it, because it was quite high initially to start with. So I think it's probably down to a 4.
Okay.
And yeah.
All right. So we're just going to do one more round of tapping. Okay.
Oh, excuse me.
As Joe continues to clear. Okay. So we're just going to do a little top to bottom routine here. Okay. So just repeat after me now. So just be aware of the guilt and the shame, okay? And we're just going to repeat after me. So all that guilt.
So all that guilt.
And all that shame.
And all that shame. I'm going to put myself on mute.
I accept that it's there.
I accept that it's there.
Because it is.
Because it is.
And I accept me anyway.
And I accept me anyway.
I wonder if it's okay now.
I wonder if it's okay now.
I wonder if it's safe now.
I wonder if it's safe now.
In the centre of my heart.
Sorry?
In the centre of my heart.
Centre of my heart.
From this heart-based area.
From this heart-based area.
I wonder if this is safe now.
I wonder if this is safe now.
To let this go.
To let this go.
And if it is.
And if it is.
I'm ready to let this go now.
I'm ready to let this go now.
With no judgment.
With no judgment.
Just acceptance.
Just acceptance.
That it's been there.
That it's been there.
For a very long time.
For a very long time.
And I'm ready now.
And I'm ready now.
In the very pit of my stomach.
In the very pit of my stomach.
From the very depths of my soul.
In the very depths of my soul.
To accept that it's been there.
To accept that it's been there.
Because it has.
Because it has.
In all aspects of my life.
In all aspects of my life.
But I wonder if it's okay now.
But I wonder if it's okay now.
To let this go.
To let this go.
Breathe in. One more. Emotionally, physically and spiritually.
Emotionally, physically and spiritually.
And mentally.
And mentally.
I'm going to breathe this out now. Out of every cell of my being.
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 It's okay now.
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 What if it is okay now?
What if it is okay now?
All this guilt and shame.
All this guilt and shame.
What if we could bring in joy
It's bringing joy
and freedom?
and freedom.
Joy and freedom.
Joy and freedom.
What a beautiful thought.
What a beautiful thought.
I wonder if I can let that bubble up inside me now.
I wonder if I can bubble that up inside me.
And you might feel this in your chest now, feeling bubbling inside me. I can feel this joy bubbling inside me now.
Feel this joy bubbling inside me.
What if that's okay now?
What if that's okay now?
What if it's okay
What if it's okay
to be joyful
to be joyful
and happy?
and happy?
If I give myself permission for that.
If I give myself permission for that.
Wow, doesn't it feel nice?
Wow, doesn't it feel nice?
Can I expand on this?
Can we expand on this?
Can I build some momentum with this?
Can I build some momentum with this?
What would happen
What would happen
if every day
every day
I felt this joy and excitement?
I felt this joy and excitement?
I'm feeling a bit silly saying this now
I'm feeling a little silly saying that now
because I never think like this,
because I never felt like this.
but it sounds quite nice.
It sounds quite nice.
So I wonder
So I wonder
if I can let myself flow
if I can let myself flow
with this,
with this,
ride these waves
ride these waves
of excitement,
of excitement,
Exciting.
roller coaster waves
Roller coaster waves
of excitement
of excitement
and joy
and joy.
and wow.
And wow.
Wonder what might happen
I wonder what might
What might happen
to my life
to
tomorrow
my life
if I allow this.
if I allow this.
if I allow this.
Really heart-based area. From the very depths of my heart.
In the
From the
very
very depths of my heart.
From my heart to yours.
From my heart to yours.
And my soul to yours.
from my
And my soul to yours.
From the very depths of who I am.
And the very depths of who I am.
To allow this joy.
To allow this joy.
To allow this love.
To allow this love.
To bubble up inside me.
To bubble up inside me.
And flow out through me.
And flow out through me.
On this very exciting journey.
And this very exciting journey.
I'm now myself.
I've gone really cold.
Me too. I wonder if that's okay now.
I wonder if that's okay now.
To allow myself
To allow myself
this joy
this joy
and this happiness.
and this happiness.
I wonder if that's okay now.
I wonder if that's okay now.
Because I can feel it bubbling again. And it might feel like you've got a real cough wanting to really bubble up inside your chest. Just allow it to come up. It might be in your stomach, okay? Might be in your throat. But as you start to acknowledge that this joy and this excitement, and you give yourself permission to feel it, experience it, because it is an experience. We give ourselves this permission to experience the joy and happiness of life. We're so good, aren't we, at allowing ourselves all the other emotions. What if we can build some momentum now with joy and love and laughter and kindness? We're just going to finish here on the...
Oh, do we have to?
Okay. So we're really going to cement in this joy and love and laughter. What if we can really bring in that joy and that unconditional love now, and laughter and happiness, joy, unconditional love. And laughter. Oh, now to me I've gone really dry, so I know that this is an area now. If any of you are really feeling dry, okay, you need to work on this a little bit more, because my whole throat has now sort of dried up as I'm tapping on this point. Why is this? Because this point here, we never go there. We never poke and prod in our bodies under here, do we? For us women, it's a no-go area. We've got bits in the way, okay? But it's so important. Your liver meridian is so important to clear out things like anger and bitterness, okay? It's opposite the heart and large intestine, okay? So that's why we spent quite a bit of time here talking about blood, yeah, and heart, because this is the gallbladder, okay, but it's opposite the heart. And if the gallbladder is feeding resentment and bitterness, but we can fill it with love and kindness, okay, you'll feel that actually start to wanting to expel out of your body, whichever way that might go.
Well, it came out in burping.
Okay, so we're just going to retune in now. How are we feeling, ladies? Tumai, how's your sinuses?
It's actually clearer. Underneath with me, it was very sore. I usually feel it sore when I talk there. Yeah, it's much clearer, and I don't feel it heavy. I still, you know, sort of blocked nose, but in general, I can actually breathe through it.
You can breathe through, and you couldn't breathe through it before?
No. It's really funny because I had that before. You tap and then suddenly, you know, where it was all blocked, you can actually somehow still breathe through.
So you've cleared from that way. So on a scale of 10 to 0, how is your guilt and shame?
It's a 0 at the moment.
Okay, Joe?
Yeah, like I said, I did a lot of burping and cleared something out. So yeah, definitely. I'd say mine's down to a 0. I've not. Yeah, it's gone. Let it go, kind of thing. If that makes sense. It's like let it go.
So the particular incidents that you were consciously thinking of, can you just tune into those particular thoughts that you were tuning into, those events in your life, and just be aware now of how that is resonating for you, from 10 being the most intense worst and 0 you're not feeling anything else.
Yeah. I'm not feeling, it's a case of now where I'm thinking what I need to do to sort it, but I've not got the guilt there, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so you can see some sort of resolve happening now.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know how to take action. Okay,
yeah,
super.
Yeah.
So you're sort of seeing now how, although, you know, some of you might still have some guilt and shame there, and that's absolutely okay. This is a pretty short session, okay? But the more you do this, the more it will help you. But obviously, if you're struggling, and these feelings can obviously enhance and intensify as well. But that is actually a sign that the energy is actually wanting to move outside of you. It just means that we need to do a little bit more work to help that expel out of your body. Okay, so please do get in touch if you find that has actually exacerbated anything, and that might happen again for over the next week. You might find we get tested on these things, so as these things start to clear, we're giving examples of what makes us feel guilty and ashamed, and it happens very quickly. So you might experience in that very first week of doing it examples in your life externally of people either making you feel guilty and ashamed, or you feeling guilty, or you actually projecting guilt and shame. But as you become more consciously aware of this, you'll start to make the connections, and then that's when you start to build up your resilience to it, and it starts to clear in other ways. Tumai, how is that for you, from your experience that you were thinking of initially?
Yeah, no, I don't have this connection anymore. Mine is with the, you know, I'm going to the past really, and I don't have that emotional connection anymore with that emotion or picture in my head.
So you've detached from that.
Yeah.
Super, that's wonderful. Okay, so thank you for today's session. Really appreciate you being here, ladies. If you've got any
Thank you.
questions, please do get in touch with either of us. I'm an energy trainer, and Joe and Tume are practitioners to be very soon in TARC, which tap around the clock, a form of EFT, which is emotional freedom technique and tapping. So we look forward to hearing from you all, and take care.